Today we're going to be talking about the Ultimus crew and where they end up going after Classified. We all thought that they would tie up the storyline really nicely and just leave a kind of a pretty bow on it and call it good, but that just never seems to be the case with any of these games, and it just never ends. No one at the time of making this video knows what happens at the end of Blood of the Dead or Classified's Easter eggs, but what we do know is that we have a lot of radios in Classified that actually give us a lot more story than we thought we'd get, and I think that it's going to lead somewhere else into the future. I'll upload another video of the Easter eggs later on this channel, and I'll link the video in the description of this video when I do upload it, so you guys can listen to the actual radios and how everything I'm about to explain happens. So basically what happens is Classified takes place after Shangri-La, because from the intro sequence of Classified we can tell that the crew was teleporting to the moon, but they accidentally altered their course to the Pentagon. So once again we have the story completely changing and new events are unfolding in front of us. The radios in Classified give us a completely different story about how the characters from Black Ops 1 ended up teleporting to the Pentagon when there wasn't a zombie outbreak. In Black Ops 1, after they blew up the Earth, they ended up teleporting to the Pentagon, and they were completely insane from all the 115 exposure. Richtofen then went on to collapse and lose consciousness, and they all got medical attention afterwards. If you remember what happened after you complete the moon Easter egg, you'd know that Samantha was actually inhabiting the body of Richtofen after they blew up the Earth, and Richtofen took Samantha's place in the MPD. Of course, after the events of Buried, Maxis had Richtofen banished from the MPD and sent him to live out his days as a zombie, and brought Samantha out of Richtofen's body and sent her to Agartha, which then led her to talk to the Origins characters in Origins. So a lot of story here, but I hope you're following with what I'm saying. After those events unfolded, Richtofen, as in the one that was banished as a zombie after Buried, actually teleports to the Pentagon as a zombie. Then that zombie walks over to the uninhabited, unconscious Richtofen and completely turns into ash once it touches his body. After that, the soul from the zombie inhabits Richtofen's body once again. Now that Richtofen has his body back, he can start over with a new evil scheme. Since they teleported back to the Pentagon after the moon to an earlier year, as in before the events of 5 took place, that would mean that they were in 1963, aka before Ascension or Classified or Moon or 5 or even Kino der Toten. So they basically got a fresh start now. It's just crazy to think that they basically completely reset the storyline for these characters, but they remember everything. Now all we're left to speculate about is what happens next. I'm pretty sure that the events of Classified might have something to do with all of this, but I'm not sure if it's the same crew that visited the Pentagon, because I'm not sure. There's literally so much going on at this point that it could fry your brain thinking too much about all of this. All that I'm certain of is that there's probably going to be more after Classified, because Richtofen has a completely fresh start again now, and he can completely make a new plan, and a whole brand new entire storyline can unfold in Black Ops 4, where Richtofen tries to find a way to plot his revenge against Maxis again. It's just crazy to think that they refuse to end the story, because, I mean, obviously from a marketing standpoint it makes sense not to end the story ever, because just imagine a COD Zombies game without Richtofen and crew. It just wouldn't capture our attention as much as these original 4 did. I mean, no matter how good the Chaos story gets, it'll just never have the magic that it once did with these original 4 characters. And I think that Treyarch knows this, so obviously they're always pulling the Infinite Universes thing out of their hat and saying, oh, you know, look, another storyline. Wow. All I know is that Activision knows this more than Treyarch, because even if Treyarch wanted to end the story once and for all, I feel like Activision would ultimately make that decision for them. The Chaos story is merely just a test to gauge and see where the COD community lies when it comes to new content and how well it's going to sell in terms of the DLC season and which maps are played the most. I think it's inevitable at this point that the characters we play as will just be at war with each other forever, because even if they find a way to end the story, they will always just kind of like pull out the Infinite Universes card and just give us another storyline from another universe. I think the story is really cool, but once you introduce time travel and alternate dimensions and all that mumbo jumbo, a story just kind of becomes pointless, because they can always make new things out of it and just reset it every single time. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think about this. What do you think about the whole Infinite dimensions and infinite universes and all that crap that they can always pull out on us and say, oh look, a new story again from the same story that we already had. They're just rewriting it basically. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's okay, or do you think that that's stupid like I do? What I thought about all of this was where they could go next, because at the end of the day, what we really love the most is what map we'll get to play in. And honestly, there's so many things that they could do, and I personally have always just wanted a map based in Atlantis. In fact, they could tie in the Apothicans storyline to the events that take place in Atlantis, because the Apothicans are Cthulhu creatures that have tentacles, and they just generally look like they belong underwater. I just would love to see all that Cthulhu mythos return anyways, because for me, it's what made Black Ops 3 Zombies so special, and I absolutely love the story behind Morgue City and Shadows of Evil, and it was just a completely different thematic element they added to Zombies, and it just absolutely worked for me. I don't know, I think I'd really love to see that kind of a theme reoccur in a map like Atlantis, if we get to see that in the future, hopefully. I mean, just think about it. What map would you like to see next? I've always made videos about an Atlantis-based Zombies map, but my ideas never saw the light of day. I know that a lot of you might be thinking, you know, how would that work? How would it work? Because Atlantis is underwater. But I think that you could obviously make areas with like pockets of air and stuff like that. It's just imagine all the lore they could pull out of this map. I mean, they could do it right. It would just take some time, obviously, and some innovation. It would be insane. I just really love to expand on my thoughts about Atlantis in another video, but for now, I'll just leave it at that. So if we look forward into the far future with DLC 1, I'm thinking that we could very well get 2 maps every DLC, one involving the Chaos story and another one for the Aether story. It's just really a lot of content this year that we could be looking at, because there wasn't a campaign this year, so it's possible that they invested a lot of more time and resources and crew members from Treyarch already into making 2 maps of DLC. Maybe they already have the templates for the maps or something like that, you know, maybe they already have it all drawn out, so they already know what they're gonna do and how they're gonna make the maps and everything. So I think it's a possibility, especially since, you know, even if Classified ends with the characters dying or something, they're still gonna have the ones that teleported to the Pentagon, and the one where Richtofen, you know, gets back his own body, and then maybe we could see where they end up going from there. I mean, I really don't know what's gonna happen with this storyline. It's really just completely confusing now. I think there's a lot that we have to think about. I think there's a lot that we still haven't seen yet, so maybe this video was a little bit too early to come out, but I know that a lot of you are going to enjoy this video, so hopefully you guys did. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think about this. Do you think that there will be a continuation for the Classified characters, and do you think that there might be a continuation for the Blood of the Dead characters? Because I know there's an Easter egg in Classified that actually shows Primus Nikolai on a picture in one of the areas of the map, and it's just really weird why they would include that, and I think that's the first connection they ever made to Primus and Ultimus in a map. So who knows? I mean, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they will add more maps to the Aether category of the game, or maybe they're just going to continue doing the Chaos story. But other than that, would you want to see that? Would you rather see just a standalone Chaos thing, the whole DLC season, or would you love to see Aether as well? Because me personally, I think that I'm very interested in the Chaos story right now. I'm just not as interested in them as I'm interested in the original characters, and I just feel like that's always going to be the thing with Call of Duty Zombies, and I think that's just how the community is going to lean towards. They're just going to lean towards being more interested in the original characters, because that's just the way it is. I don't know how to explain it in a better way. We just like the original characters better, but I think that the Chaos story is actually pretty interesting, especially now that the Easter eggs are finished, and looking back at it now, it is really just an interesting story. The whole thing with the Titanic sinking and everything and how they were involved, I think that was pretty cool. And 9 as well. I thought that that map was really cool, actually. I think it could be personally my favorite map in the whole game, next to Blood of the Dead. I really like Blood of the Dead. I think it's just more of a nostalgic thing for me. Maybe that's just the way I am. I just really like the nostalgic factor of it, and I think that Blood of the Dead is my favorite map, next to 9, of course. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a rating, please subscribe, and have a wonderful day. See you later.